Hello to everybody that's joining us today. This is actually our last Creative Futures now before Christmas. And we've had a great time, I think, over the last few weeks, hearing from our guest speakers who are working in all sorts of different creative practices. I think before we get started and meet our guest speakers for today, we need a few introductions. So if you haven't met me before, my name's Lisa Law. I'm one of the careers staff here at the university, but in particular linked to arts and humanities. And I'm joined today by Claire, as always. Claire, do you just want to say a quick hello?
Yeah, hi, I'm Claire Bookerfield. I'm Faculty Public Engagement Coordinator, which means that I work on a lot of our public-facing projects. Artsfest being one, you may know me from that, and also working with Lisa on this series of really successful talks.
Brilliant, thank you. And as you can see, we've got not just one guest speaker today, but three for the price of one. Hi guys. So it'll be nice to meet you as well, just have a few introductions. Rebecca, do you want to just say hello quickly?
Hi there, hi guys. We're 83 Design. We are all ex-Wolves graduates who work in a creative agency in Bridie Hill in the Black Country.
Brilliant, thank you so much. Okay, just to set the scene, as I've briefly mentioned, Creative Futures is all about hearing from guest speakers, many of whom are alumni, where we can find out a little bit more about different creative pathways and roles, and how you might establish your own creative career, because there's no two creative careers that are the same really. So it's really nice to hear real examples from real people talking about the highs and yes, also the challenges of forging a creative career. And just want to say in advance, thank you so much to Dan, Rebecca and Emily, who are joining us here from 83 Design. As always, please do ask questions throughout. What we're going to do is hear from 83 Design to begin with. You can ask questions as we go through. All you need to do is bring up your Zoom toolbar. You'll see the Q&A and you can type your question there. And then we'll pick those up right at the end, Claire and I, and pose some questions to the three guest speakers that we have. We also have the chat open as well, and that's so that we can post any information or web links that will be relevant to you. We are recording as well, and that's so that you can watch it back afterwards. And so others who haven't joined us can also watch the recording. And because of all of this, I'd just like to remind you that this is a public platform, so please don't share anything that's confidential or sensitive. Okay, so without further ado, I think I'll pass over to Rebecca and Dan and Emily, and we're really looking forward to hearing your talk. So thank you very much.
Cheers, thanks Lisa. So hi guys, we are 83 Design. We are a creative agency, as I said, based in Bridie Hill, and we tackle all kinds of creative projects, mainly in web, branding and print work. So I'm here to say a bit about our past. You may hear our office dog in the background, so sorry if he starts to get noisy, and tell you sort of where we started out and where we came from, and then the other guys will take you from there. So we, Dan and I started 83. We met way back in 1999. So we both were interested in creative industries. Dan's granddad was a compositor, so he worked in print and things like that. So they forged our loves of design really, and we met in 1999 at Stourbridge Art College that was then. So yeah, so here you go. At the same time as we met, and we're married to each other, by the way, not just taking random photos when we were at college. At that same time, something else was happening, because in 1999, Emily was born, which makes us feel very, very old. But it's a connection that we all share, that 1999 was a good year for 83. So yeah, we met at Stourbridge Art College and came along to Wolves Uni. We came pre-COVID to come and do a talk, just about, I think we scraped in with about 2 or 3 weeks before we all got locked down. And it was a real pleasure. Oh, and a real pleasure to come back, because we hadn't been back to sort of the uni and the SAD since we'd left in sort of the early 2000s. So yeah, so we came and did this talk for you. And it just so happens that in that very talk was Emily. So she sat there and she watched that talk that we were in. So yeah, our first meeting that we didn't know that we'd actually had until a little bit later down the line, sort of thing. So really showing our age now. So it's some of the work that we did at uni and how we sort of cut our teeth way back in the early 2000s. 2003 BC, which was before cloud, we had these delightful devices called zip disks, which all of our work had to fit on. If one of these bad boys went down, that was it, you were done for. There went you were, there were no cloud backups and stuff like that. So we found a real love really for using all kinds of sort of conceptual ideas. We took part in a slideshow project that was hosted at the Lighthouse Cinema, and a lot of hands-on design work, a lot less computer-based, a lot less, to be honest, both of us have discussed this, I mean, we don't remember spending a great deal of time on the computer at our time in uni. It was very hands-on, very paper-based stuff. And we managed to dig out from our loft some old uni work that we'd still got. So yeah, you kind of see that there. And yeah, just getting quite tactile with print and printing techniques and stuff like that, which I think served us pretty well, really, learning in that kind of way. And yeah, and just taking that time to learn it. So from uni, we progressed on. We went off to do the 9-to-5 grind, working with all kinds of parts of the industry. I found myself in e-commerce, building e-commerce websites for some quite nice large brands, but also with some startups and some smaller companies. So it really helped sort of to cut your teeth really and learn how to deal with a single person, but also how to get things through committees of people and teams of people. So yeah, so this is sort of a lot of it was at the time sort of eBay based really, so getting brands onto eBay and working with a company that did that. And I got to work with some really nice big brands actually, and it was a really good place to sort of take those skills we'd learned at uni and take them forward. And yeah, working with some of these really big companies certainly poses some massive challenges in itself, as to you can just about get things agreed and then one person turns up to a meeting and the whole process starts all over again. So I think that's sort of a real valuable thing to learn, almost, that sort of that design's just always that constant evolving process, and that you know, things aren't ever really finished. They will change, they will adapt, and they will become different things. So yeah, so just working in different segments really, and finding that sort of love for taking things from sort of the concept of a brand and taking that through to all the other assets that come along with that. On to you. I shall pass you over to Dan.
Excuse us, folks. Seamless transition. I have a dog. Sorry. There we go. Right, let's strap in, everybody. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan. I'm on bestest behaviour. So hopefully this will be all good for everybody concerned. I'm going to talk about the present, so 83 as it is now, because we've gone through a massive shift even since we last came to speak at the university. There was there was only us two. I'm really bad at pointing back, us two. Pre-COVID, and then as we stand now, you'll see later the team has grown, which has its challenges as well. So last year we, before I start that, the fact is that we're designers and we started out doing design because we love to design, but the reality is that starting a business means you have to do a lot of business stuff that you don't understand, and that is a really steep learning curve. But the good thing is there's loads of resources and mentors and courses and things you can access. And that's kind of what we've done. We've talked to a lot of people. And off the back of that, we set out our mission statement and our vision statement. So our mission statement is to create solutions that add value to people's lives. We're currently reviewing this to tweak it a little bit, but ultimately that's what we like to do. We like to help people solve problems that make their life better, whether that's makes it easier, makes it a bit more money, makes their idea become reality, all those things. That's what we like to do. And the overarching mission of ours is to create opportunities to fulfill potential, which we say all the time. In this office, we're always saying that. Shall we do that? Does it fulfill potential? Yes, it does. We'll do it. It's kind of an overarching driving force behind us. As well as that, we've been doing a lot of work on social media because previously to this, our marketing efforts weren't the best because we were just too busy doing design work. And having clients come word of mouth is great, but we want to branch out a little bit. So this year we've had a bit of an effort. We have a strategy. We release a blog fortnightly. So the latest one is about brand voice and how important that is and what it actually is and when you should use it. We post regularly on Facebook and LinkedIn. I occasionally do a live session just talking about the blog or issues around that on Tuesday at 11 o'clock sometimes. We also have branched out into TikTok. Emily came on board and told us all about the wonder that is videos and stuff like that. And that's ended our life now because TikTok is just a portal and you just get sucked in. But it is probably the most fun part of the week, making these videos. Find us on TikTok, you'll see what I'm talking about. It isn't a business exercise, it's just showing who we are as a business, and you get a good idea of what we are by looking at these videos. The same with the Instagram. We do post images on Instagram and our blog and all those other things, but also we post the videos too because they're just fun, and we get in terms of reach and numbers, we get quite a lot of views and reach, which is, we don't really know why, but we just do. We just have fun with it, really. And it's important to show that side of yourself. That's what makes you different to everybody else. That's why we're different to loads of other design agencies you'll see and hear from, and that's not a good or a bad thing particularly. That is a good thing, it's not a bad thing. This year as well, I have been touting this around the place. This is kind of my concept of branding, because the number one thing, and I'm sure you'll all have heard it, I don't need branding, I've got a logo. I did a logo, my mate did a logo. But the fact is, and I'll come back to this later, that we've got a lot of knowledge and experience, and the creative people here and the graphic designers and the branded people. And it's more than a logo. A brand is more than a logo. Nike, their logo is great, but it's great because it's got all that other stuff behind it and all the other thinking, and that's kind of what atomic branding is. So I've done a session. I did a session in November about the basis of it, about how in the nucleus of atomic branding is your colours, fonts, icon, and voice, and around that stuff like assets, logos, letterheads, video, social media, all that stuff feeds off that nucleus. So that's kind of the idea of that. I'm going to develop it more going forward, but that's something I've been up to. So we're going to put some work on here. This is relatively recent work. I'm going to hand over to Emily very briefly on this one because she did it, not me. So she can talk about this. So I'll just introduce what it is. So this is Spod is it's a bit strange. It's a bit of a prototype concept of yeah, it's like a pod that you can sleep in, but it looks like a little house on wheels. We don't fully.
It's a secure, safe space that people can use in different areas. So it could be that they're on a building site for people to take a break in. They could be used in airports. They could be used in any sort of space where you need to go and chill and relax for a little time away from the stressors that are on the outside of that.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty fun project. Working with the client a lot, they wanted it to obviously show the fun, like happy vibe and security. So obviously we went with the smiley face sketch. There was a lot of fun doing that. I was getting quite hands-on, like drawing lots of different things and coming up with the concepts to get the final thing. And you did a cool bit with it where you've got the blueprint design. You can sort of see it on the business card. and added the blueprint design like on the background to make it all a bit technical as well.
Yeah, it's kind of the sketch kind of gives you that feeling of human touch. Somebody's drawn that, and so you know that gives that impression. The color is yellow; it's very bright and positive, and then the technical aspect is it shows you what it is. So it's a nice little project that was good fun doing. And the client was brilliant as well. She was really nice lady, very happy. And we're currently doing her website, I believe, changing the website.
Extra functionality.
Okay, so the next one is, this was a small startup from an existing client who has branched out from doing barbering, sorry, and in a horse box. He kitted out this horse box to be a barber's. It's a nice little thing. He's down in Kidderminster somewhere. But he's partnered with somebody else to now cook pizzas in a similar sort of way, so in a kind of a trailer. And they wanted something like this, like modern, like you see these kind of logos that they're very all over the place now. There's a lot of pizza, hand thrown, stone baked, and they wanted something of that kind. So this is like our take on that kind of I don't know, American grill, yeah, something like that, kind of very kind of in at the moment. And yeah, so that's just a little mock-up of that. The next one is probably my favorite thing we've done this year, probably, and Emily did it again. So I'll set this up. So our client, he works very grand. He works for the UN and consults with them on various things. And this constitutional law for minorities and groups. And he's setting up his own practice in Canada. The name Huron is it's a lake, and also an indigenous people of that area in Canada. And yeah, and Emily did this. So you want to take them through the?
Yeah, this was a really fun one to work on because of the lake and the water. We wanted to keep it quite simple. So I initially started like researching. I can't remember why we looked into this, but it was like alchemical symbols. And the alchemical symbol for water was an upside down triangle. So I sort of developed on that and added all these shapes around the upside down triangle to turn it into this really funky shape, which I sort of thought, the circle looks a bit like the sun. It makes a bit of a horizon shape, you know, to sort of show the water a bit more. But then adding the extra lines, I worked out that I could draw each letter, it's like spelling out Huron Chambers, in the shape, so it's got a nice little extra layer to it. So that was a fun one.
Yeah, and it's the extra layers and the Easter eggs that you put in things, which
add value.
Yeah, they add value. Yeah, they do. And they add to your story, which is because if you tell, excuse me, I'm about to cough my lungs out. That's thank you. If you explain that to somebody, then they'll remember it because there's a story attached to it. Excuse me. Oh. Grab your dog. Right. This next one, this is a local company actually who sell candles and wax melts and all those nice things. They brought us loads of things to play with. They smell so good. And these pictures, Emily took these pictures in for the website, for their e-commerce site that we did. And yeah, it's just a nice little site. They're called Little Boy Blue. They're called that because they have bulldogs. They used to breed bulldogs, and hence see the bulldog on the side there. But that was a nice little thing. Some really nice people, actually.
But so nice as well to be able to take a small company and add to what they can put out, because sort of they hadn't got a web presence and they hadn't got that outlet for their customers, and sort of they weren't very digital or technically minded, but they knew that was where their business needed to be. So to have that experience and to be able to sort of guide them in the right direction and set them up with a product that was right for them going forwards, that sort of goes back a little bit to our sort of mission and vision statements, that we want to add value, and our integrity is quite important to us. So we don't tell people to do certain things because it has a benefit to us. We try and find the absolute best fit for the customer and what outcome they need. So it was really nice to get to know their business and to get to know their limitations almost as well of what they felt they could manage and they could cope with, and trying to come up with a really clean solution that helped them to do that.
They found us, interestingly, off the back of having a really bad experience with a large hosting and web service provider who couldn't do what they needed. So they basically took a lot of money off them and couldn't provide them the service they wanted. So they were currently in talks to get the money back off them when they came and found us. So they had an experience and a preconception in mind when they came and spoke to us, and it was really good to be able to sort of win them round and show them what can be done. So that was a really nice story, that one. So here's the dog that I stuck on the screen a little while ago. Dog grooming, it's massive. We know dog groomers. We have a dog. He goes to the groomer. He doesn't have a lot done. He's smooth-haired, but yeah, dog groomers are massive. So this was a recommendation from another dog groomer, kind of. Oh, and yeah, another one of Emily's designs. I do some work. I do promise you. But yeah, so this is actually one of your first, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, because you obviously web design wasn't something you'd really looked at prior. So
not really.
Yeah.
It was fun to like sort of have a go, really, because obviously not really having much web design experience before. You really showed me how to work out the systems and like what would work on site in comparison to like when I've been doing print stuff. So yeah, it was a good learning experience.
Good fun as well. It's always good fun to have good images.
Yeah, cute dogs.
Yes. Yeah. Another project that Emily's had a lot to do with. Oh, we should have picked. I wonder who found these images out. I think it might have been Emily. So darts tracker. Now darts, we all know what darts is, but certainly in this office we don't really follow darts at all. But if you know, it's getting bigger, and there's a big following around darts. And we met this client years and years ago, and he's been talking to us for years about doing some stuff, and he's never really, because he's a bit of a hobbyist and he has another job, it's something that has only recently come to fruition. And what he does is he's a darts statistician, so he gets all these statistics, and it's the minute, it's the throw. It's really like, I mean, what sort of thing did you on his website?
Yes, so we've come up with a system of displaying these stats and sort of scoring systems and stuff, but it needed to be in such a way that it could be kept up to date really quickly, and in such a way that he could make it accessible to lots of different media outlets. So he does work with people like Sky Sports and Ladbrokes and Sporting Life and things like that. So having this web presence, but he was really keen on, because sort of like say darts has got, it's very vibrant, you've got these shirts and the crowd and the site, and it's got such big personality, and he was really keen on not being another white and grey sports stats site that is just an awful lot of numbers that people have to trawl down. He wanted to make the user experience of it really, really nice and really good. So it's kind of been, I sort of oversee the development team and these guys, the design team. And it's been like a really nice collaboration where all the decisions and the choices that have been made have had equal weighting, because very often some sites are all design based and there's very little additional development, and some sites are very development heavy, but then there's but this has been one of those real partnerships really where the communications had to be real between us all and the client, and we've sort of all been working in tandem to pull this off. Yeah, so it's been a good, interesting project to work on.
So we did the initial branding. The Darts Tracker logo is one of ours, and with the design, he was very keen on like Football Manager. There's a Football Manager game, and that's kind of where the inspiration for this came from. And then we got talking to him, and he wanted, but each player has a profile, and finding images is obviously an issue with usage rights and things like that. You can't just put any picture of anybody on a site. So we came up with this idea of doing, because they all have individual shirts like football, or say sort of their thing. And so what we've been doing, and I say Emily's in most of these, I've done some of them. We're making 96, I think it's 100, the top 100 darts players shirts from scratch. So these are just 6. I think we're about 80 in now, maybe a bit less. And they're all going to be done in time for the World Cup, which is on the 15th.
Middle of December.
Yeah, so he's doing like a live thing, and he's really happy, and that's really good, and that makes us feel good because, you know, he's really happy, we're really happy. It's a nice fun project.
And it is like you said, it's a dream he's had for several years, and we're bringing it to life for him, and that's a really nice thing to have with a client, that you have that sort of relationship, that, you know, you're invested in what they do in their business, and you know, we sort of pride ourselves really in sort of like becoming their design team, but from our office. You know, we know clients really well, and we get a lot of retained clients. So.
We do. Okay, speaking of amazing clients, this next one is the wonderful Guillaume Black. He is a brilliant Frenchman who we met last year. We've been there for about 12 months, and we've done multiple projects for him, and he's just a really good, fun guy. A lot of our projects are based in the property sector, just through the networks that we're in. And these people are entrepreneurs, so we work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And the thing about entrepreneurs is everything's last minute. They have an idea, it has to be done now, yesterday. But Guillaume is very flexible and happy, and, you know, he's a great person. In fact, on our TikTok, if you do find it, we did the Jeff Bezos trend that was a while ago. We did a video dedicated to Guillaume on there, so you might want to. It's probably one of my favourites. So yeah, this was his personal business, where he does property, developments or something like that.
Again,
investments and developments, things like that. So yeah, I had real fun with this one, just kind of stretching the boundaries, what you can do with what is, I suppose, a basic website, I suppose, but you know, it does the job. So yeah, so that was a really fun little project to work with. So that's some of the work we've got on here. We also did our website. This is kind of a bit outdated because we are going to redo it again next year, because as a web company we should keep up to date, and, you know, as much as we like our site, we've grown in the last 6 months. We've got a different direction, which we'll talk about a little bit. But we added a video for the first time ever. We got a video on the header of our website, and it kind of really gives a good impression of who we are as a company, because we can't be summed up in a picture. I'm sorry. There's a lot of different personalities in this office, and they need to be, you know, a video is the only way we really can show that. Excitingly, this year we did a convention at the International Convention Centre in Birmingham. It was really, really good. It was the Getting and Keeping Customers Convention 2020, with those stars in the top there. Unfortunately, Peter Jones didn't turn up. He ditched us for golf. So his name is in that network. His name is Mud. But we approached it with the fact that we are different, and we want to create an experience, and we didn't have roller banners with our best deals or explaining in great detail what it is we did. We just wanted to get people and meet people and talk to people. So we had a colouring wall, which Emily did from scratch, and she blew it. It's massive, absolutely huge. You can see it there. You know, it's huge. Traced it all. Did on the computer, traced it all. We coloured it in to start it off. Excuse me. Elliot, amazing developer, made a computer game from scratch. We got a thing of lucky cats. We haven't got, actually, there's not been many lucky cats in this presentation yet, but we do love lucky cats. We've got, there's one here. Let's grab one right off my desk. There you go. There's one. There's one over here somewhere. So, you know, we've got loads of cats. And that's kind of a mascot that we have. It's kind of came from my son bought us when we first started, and we had a bit of luck, so we bought more. And now when everybody starts here, we buy them a cat, and, you know, it's just like that. So we use that as a kind of mascot, and it was a really great talking point. We gave out fortune cookies. We had a little competition. It was really good. We got a lot of good comments. There were some other web companies there who were clearly different to us, and, you know, you should position yourself with the people you want to work with. We want to work with people who would find our stand exciting and fun. You know, that's the long and short of it, really.
And it was, and it played into a big part of, we sat as a team and sort of discussed what was important to us about the people that we work with. And for us, it's getting to know them, getting to know their businesses, finding out what makes them tick, and finding out what problems we can solve. And to do that, you have to open a dialogue with people, and you have to talk, and you have to listen. And we wanted to find ways to get them opening up and talking to us, and finding out what people needed and what people wanted. And so by creating a bit more of an experience than a sort of a sales pitch, it really allowed us to do that. And actually we built some really nice client relationships out of it with some really nice clients. So yeah, seemed to work really well, and it was a really good team building exercise because we're all quite a new team over the last couple of years, and it was a big project for us all to sort of get our teeth into, wasn't it?
It was a very short notice. We found out about 2 weeks before we had to do it, and it was a lot of work. And you know, over the course of the 3 or 4 days, we did about 70 hours putting it all up, and it was really intense. But actually, looking back on it, it was one of the highlights of last year. So yeah, so business stuff. As I said, we are designers. Me and Becca are designers. We're not business people, but we found something that we do enjoy in business development and coming up with ideas. And the photographs at the top are us presenting our end of year presentation to the property business development course that we're on. And that's to thank for everything that we've achieved really in terms of the business, going from just us two in the bedroom to what we are now. They showed us the way almost. And just a little bit of shameless self-promotion at the bottom there. That's me winning Entrepreneur of the Month for October. So, you know, I've never won anything. So I'm just putting that in there. I didn't do anything amazing. I said what I was going to do and I did it. And no one else in the group did. So that's all you've got to do. Set a target and do it. That's all you have to do. It's that simple. But it's really nice to be in a peer group such as this, of successful people who become your support and your network and your mentors, and you can talk to them, and you can, you know, it's networking is really, really important. Yes. So talking of really intense, stressful times, we moved. So when we came last time, we were in an office downstairs in this building, and then we had the great idea because our team was growing, we needed to move. So we moved upstairs. Now the room upstairs hadn't been touched; it was abandoned in 2012.
Yeah.
And no one had been up there since, other than to just throw stuff up there. So here are some pictures of the before. So this was in March, April.
Last year.
So this is our suite at the moment. So there was the kitchen, going from left to right, top to bottom. That's the kitchen and the toilet. There are the stairs leading upstairs. That there is the dev, top right is the dev office.
Yeah.
And bottom left is the design office where we are now. In fact, where you can see the little globe, obviously my mouse, kind of the globe bar, which is just under the window, that's where we're sitting right now. And then the middle one is the meeting room, and the other one, the last one at the bottom right, is the dev office.
Very late, mid to late 90s.
It was really,
glorious,
I mean, black ash desks, horrible artwork. No, if the landlady's listening, it's lovely, but yeah, it wasn't good. It was just very, very tired, needed some love. Anaglypta, magnolia, wood chip. No, we don't talk of wood chip. And we put some hours in over the course of the next 3 months, and this is the progress photos of what seemed like forever. Interesting story. The second one across on the top row, I took that picture because it reminded me of David Carson, his work, and I put it on LinkedIn, and David Carson liked it. So, you know, there's a claim to fame there. But yeah, there was a lot of wallpaper. There was a lot of just a lot of everything, and the rooms are really big, so it took
just to
loads.
put it into context, the bottom middle picture, all of the white stuff is holes we had to fill.
Yes.
There's a lot of holes.
But we did it, and in June we moved in. Here's some lovely pictures that Emily took of the offices for just for nice pictures for the website, I believe. So, they're very fast. Okay. But yeah, you get the feeling it's it's really nice place to be, and it allows us to spread out a little bit. And you know, with COVID and stuff and social distancing at the time, we thought that'd be a good thing to do.
And it's that, going right back to the beginning almost, it's what we'd always wanted to do. We wanted to create a team and a creative space, so almost really so we could carry on working in the way we'd learned at college and at uni, and collaborating. And for us, certainly, it is a dream realised. It's taken us nearly 20 years to get here, but yeah, if you've always got that dream and that goal in mind, and even if you're only making tiny steps towards it, small steps are better than no steps, aren't they? So.
It's all about the 1%. It's just the 1% improvements. If you can do, because 100% improvement is really hard, but 101% improvements isn't that hard. It's just about little bits and chipping off what you can do. So the best bit now, the best thing about the last couple of years is our team growth. So it started off as just me and Beck, just doing everything: chief cook, bottle washer, tea boy, everything. And then, unfortunately, as our sister-in-law Shine, she lost her job over COVID. So we took her on as an assistant to do all the things that we don't like to do. Not very good at, you know, invoicing, chasing people, sorting out bin collections, all that stuff that, you know, she's great at that. And then the one family joined us in January officially.
We had a bit of we were recruiting for Emily's job.
Oh yes, there is a story behind this, yeah.
And we'd closed our applications. We'd sort of shortlisted down to a few people, and then a sneaky extra application came in right at the end, which was Emily's. And we took a look at her CV just by chance. Sean said, "Do you want to take a look at this one?" And we recognised some of her work from Instagram. So it just shows you that showcasing that work and putting it out there, you know, that potential, you know, job offer or and I think without that we might not, because we said, oh, go on, we'll interview her as well, and we were pretty sure that we picked who we were going to have, and Emily just came in and stormed it, and we ended up giving her the job instead. So yeah, making sure you scream and shout and tell people what you're doing, and you know, show your strengths, yeah, because you never know who's watching.
You don't. Networking is key. It's, you know, LinkedIn is great for that, especially if you're looking to get into business of any sort. I believe we knew Emily from LinkedIn as well. I think it was a double thing. But just it's brand recognition. We recognise the brand of Emily, and that's what we thought, yeah, we'll give her a chance, and you know, the rest is history.
And now she does all the work.
Now she does all the work. Apparently. She took these photos and made them like this. So actually, I took your picture.
Yeah. You have done something.
I have done something. I'll put this PowerPoint together. Next up, he at the time of making this PowerPoint, Dan, who is my best friend, he didn't actually work for us, but he just came in. He's a writer and he had a desk and he wrote. But we've recently hired him as a content manager to manage our content. Because it's something that takes so much effort and time, and it's a hat that we could pass to somebody else who's actually perfect for the job. So, and it's another example of creating an opportunity. The mission, you know, giving somebody a chance. He was kind of unfulfilled in his job a little bit, in not just his job, but just kind of didn't really have any direction and wanted to. I think we thought it'd be a really good opportunity for him. So yeah, he's looking forward to that challenge starting in January. Elliot, another opportunity made. Elliot came to us with a Kickstarter scheme, which was brilliant. So for 6 months we got him, and the government paid his wages, which is brilliant. And he was so good that we've kept him on. So he's our developer. He was a games developer, and he's kind of pivoted, as they say, and he's picked up web developing like nothing, and he's great. He's a really good asset, isn't he?
He does all the very clever stuff that the rest of us don't understand.
Yes. And last but not least, Ernie is our office dog. He is, we had him as a puppy just before lockdown as a little baby, and he's asleep right here. He's just the heart and soul of what we do. He just muddles along. Everyone loves him. You know, it's a very important part of the ethos. Which is the ethos is everything.
It's a great thing of building the business that we're like a family. So yeah, who's got the dog, who's putting the kettle on? We have that dynamic where everyone's valuable.
And that picture isn't to scale. He's not that big. He's only a Jack Russell. He's quite small. We also we did so much last year. We raised the money for Buses for Homeless, which is a charity which helps homeless people get off the streets using big double-decker buses, and they've got a whole system where they take them through, get them educated and healthy and well, and send them out, and it's really good. I think, how much do we raise?
Just over 1,000.
I think as a group, because it was a larger effort, I think we raised £130,000. We raised about
about
£1,000, and we walked 4 million steps in 12 weeks. So that was a lot between us. It was a million steps each. It was a lot of hard work. I don't think we're walking like 12,000 steps a day, which now I can't even imagine doing that. So that was again a really good team building thing, helping some people, and we got in the paper just because of somebody we knew through networking. So that was really, really good. And right, so now the lady does all the work, Emily. Emily is she's job title is a designer, but she's much more than that. There she is, and she's going to talk to you a little bit now about her journey, because we figured that we've got a journey, she's got a journey which is closer to some of you people who are listening, so she'd be really valuable. So I'm going to hand over to her.
So it's just a little bit about well, how I started, so and how I ended up here. So throughout uni, obviously I was doing my uni work, and then 2020, the lovely year hit, and we were all working from home. I finished up my studies, and I was looking for work at the time. And on my emails, I think there was like a thing about New Designers Awards. So I thought, why not? Let's have a go and do one of the briefs and just do that for a bit of fun, just a little side project whilst I was applying for lots and lots of jobs. But yeah, I did that. Didn't think much of it, but then I ended up winning, and I posted about it online. I was making lots of connections, with Dan and Rebecca on LinkedIn and all that. And then I sort of forgot about the New Designers thing for a bit, but then my dad ended up finding a job, and he was like, oh, there's this place called 83. And I was like, oh, I recognise that. I think they did a talk at my uni. And then as Beck said before, they recognised me, and the rest is history, really. And then worked here for a bit, and then I had my graduation ceremony finally, and they surprised me. And then, as you can see, there's two of the lecturers and Dan and Rebecca there, lovely Mark and Jeff. So yeah.
There was a picture actually I wish I put on there. We brought the sort of the quad area to a standstill with the loudest confetti cannon you've seen in your life. Again, on TikTok there's a video of it. Emily's dad fired it off right down the side of our ears, and everybody, it sounded like a gunshot. Everybody stopped. It was hilarious. We've got a great picture of it. It's really good, and a video. Yeah. So yeah,
it's the connection there as well, because when we were at Wolves, Mark and Jeff were our lecturers. So not to make, if Emily makes us feel old, we should make them feel old. Yeah. So
but they look great. They don't look old.
I don't think Jeff's aging at all.
Jeff doesn't age. He's a vampire. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So
it's all about the connections, isn't it? And putting your name out there, even if you don't think it's going to go anywhere. Like, I didn't think this New Designers competition was going to do anything. I just thought, oh, fun project, but it's got me here. It was almost like a domino effect, and you don't realise unless you step out there.
Yeah. So, yeah. You have had some quite unfortunate timing though, because Emily, you lost your sort of final year at uni, and then she started working for us, and she did one day, and then we got locked back down. So she worked for the grand total of one day in the office before we all had to go and work from home again. So she's had some challenges to overcome there in a year with us.
Awesome. Right then, so that's the past and the present. Now the future. We are currently in the process of looking at our strategy, business stuff again for next year, and we've got us together as a team and planned out what we want to do, because it's important that we're all on the same page. And we've kind of decided this year, we don't know, it hasn't been finalised yet, but we kind of want to get back to loving what we do, because the problem with working for yourself is that you get stuck in the business stuff, the emails, the finances, all that stuff. But why we did this was to work with design and do design stuff. So we're going to do more about that and make sure that we're enjoying doing the job, which is really exciting stuff actually. And we've got our final strategy session Friday. So yeah, so that's some really good stuff, and everyone's the whole team contributed to the strategy. So that's all part of what we, because our ethos is that
everyone's important. We want everyone to be happy and, you know, have a stake really, and you know, see that their ideas are valued and are important. And I think, you know, if you ever don't feel like that in a job or a role, that can be really heartbreaking when you're passionate about what you do. Yeah, so we don't want that for Eighty3.
So yeah, some takeaways, because it's good to have value. So here we just put together a few tips. There's probably some more we're going to come up with, but these are the ones that I think are really important, and Emily's stuck one on you as well, you know. So the first thing is know your worth. So you get an education, the knowledge you're getting now and the experience you're having now are worth something. In a world of Canva and Wix and things that, you know, people can sit at their home and design something, that it doesn't devalue what you know, because what you know is you can't, no one can take it away from you, is what I'm trying to say. So that's something different and unique to yourself, so value that. Obviously you have to pay your dues, so you have to get experience and you have to do all this stuff, but never forget that, you know, what you've got is valuable. Grow thick skin, especially when, like I say, you're paying your dues. Clients come in all shapes and sizes, and you have to grow thick skin. You can't take it personally. It's difficult as a designer because you put your heart and soul into what you do, and then somebody just says it's rubbish, I can do better myself. They can't for the most part, but you don't take it personally. You know, just try not to. It's very difficult. That is a really difficult one. This next one is my favorite one of this year. I learned this earlier. I'm not going to tell you the full quote because it's got a swear word in it, but don't be a screwdriver. So you're not a screwdriver to make somebody else's rubbish idea. You're not a tool to do that. So, but sometimes you have to be a screwdriver. Sometimes you have to go, you know what, I'm just going to do that, and that'll make them happy. Then they'll be happy, and I can go about my business. You have to pick your battles, but bear in mind that, you know, your opinion is valuable too. This has come up a few times. Network. Get as many people to see you as possible. LinkedIn is great for that. All the social platforms are very good, you know, but LinkedIn for business and jobs is very, very good. So just get out there, just put stuff out there, share stuff, comment, engage, all this stuff. It's all really, really good stuff. Emily, this is a really good one as well. Never stop looking for opportunities. Keep your eyes open. The more you look for opportunities, the more you'll find. Don't just sit back and complain you're not getting anything done when, you know, you need to be looking. Yeah, I think that's about it. So in the interest of networking, we are on LinkedIn. So please connect with us. Find us at Eighty3 Design Limited. It's orange and it says Eighty3 Design. That's us. You found us. We're quite recognisable as a trio. It's like a game of Guess Who. But yeah, please connect with us. If anybody want to reach out and speak to us, we love talking to people. So happy to share stuff, engage with you. You know, we like, one of our hashtags, Eighty3 family. So we like to, especially our Wolves alumni, we like to make sure they're okay. And yeah, so thank you all very much for listening. I hope you find it valuable, and thanks again. Happy to answer any questions that may have come up if we left anything unsaid. So
I've got a question, if you don't mind me asking. It strikes me that you are constantly reviewing your business and your ethos, and that to me seems really, really healthy. Is that something you've always done right from the very beginning? And I guess, I suppose, do you think that's like a massively important part of running a successful business?
I think so, because for us, Eighty3 was sort of born out of, we knew we'd worked, as everyone does, we'd worked a few rubbish, like jobs that were really stifling and weren't very creative environments. And I think that drove us initially, because we knew what we didn't want to create. We didn't want other designers and creatives and stuff to feel like that. You know, we wanted to sort of get that, like that uni feel, that collaborative, working together, pulling in the same direction kind of kind of feel, really. So that was where it was born from. So all of our decisions have always been based around making sure we're doing that to the best of our ability, and really the reviews come with scale changes, really, because when it was just me and Dan and we're married to each other, so you know, we're throwing ideas around while we're buttering the kids' toast or doing the food shop and doing stuff like that, to then having to collaborate as a bigger team, just making sure that it's not an us and them kind of situation, and making that.
Whereas the review, like we're constantly reviewing, we learned through business learning and development, we were kind of in the year is in a cycle of seasons, and business years like that. So in different times of the year, you do different things. So in the autumn, which is now, we review and look at what the successes are, what things are broken. In the winter, we fix the broken things and put the stuff in place to make sure that we can succeed. Spring is for new growth and new staff maybe, or new campaigns or whatever. And summer is just do it, just execute all this stuff, sales and sell, and we've kind of got into that pattern. It's our third year of doing that, and we've grown the most in that time. So it is really, really important to constantly be journaling. Is a really good thing if you can, journal a lot. That really helps, because you've got the answers, you just need to quiet.
No, that's really good advice. Okay,
awesome.
I think we've got a few questions actually come in, haven't we, Claire?
So the first one is, hi, can I just ask how many staff you need to run a graphic design company?
One.
I think when we started, it was just me doing logos for 20 quid in a back bedroom, just, for freelance. Obviously, more staff equals more capacity, but also equals higher overheads and other issues which you don't consider, HR, people relationships and stuff like that is a real consideration, and there's a lot of other things. So you only need one, but getting more, just.
And even just having one doesn't have to limit the sort of people that you work for.
No.
We got some of our biggest clients, and some of the people who are still our biggest clients now, when there was just you working full time, and I still had a full-time job and was just doing stuff in evenings and weekends and things like that. I mean, we did some work for Cargill when we very first started out, and they're like one of the biggest companies in the world, and we did some graphics and stuff for their e-learning platform, and it was just us in Brierley Hill in a spare bedroom. And don't think you have to be limited by your size or your stature. Sometimes big companies are crying out for someone that they can lean on and use and rely on, rather than it getting lost in a bigger agency. Sometimes people like that personal approach.
Okay, one here from Eleanor. What do you feel has been the biggest changes in the design industry since you started your agency?
I'd say like the Fiverr and Fiverr and Wix and Canva and stuff like that, which it gives people that perception that they can do it themselves, which is good, which is always great for people to have ways to be creative. But I think sometimes people see that, so then when you give them a price for something, it's like, oh well, I could just go and chuck it on Canva for free. But they don't see. We had a client recently who knocked something together on Canva and didn't see the implications of the licensing of the fonts that they'd used and stuff like that. So if they'd have put that out into the world and got stung with the licensing, and really people aren't just paying you for your design skills, it is that knowledge, and that you could safeguard them from a big fall somewhere further down the line because they don't know the ins and outs of some of the implications of what they do, I'd say. Yeah.
There's that, that probably is the biggest one. Fiverr is some people use Fiverr because it's cheap, and rightly so. Like early startups that haven't got the money to pay for branding, so paying 10 quid for a logo, whatever, is brilliant. But obviously that comes with implications, which you have to be aware of, and you should get, in my opinion, the best service you can afford. So if Fiverr is the best you can afford, then go for it. Just be aware of the pros and cons. The other thing is responsivity. Mobile devices was a big, that kind of come in, and we kind of started doing web stuff.
Well, to put it into, we didn't do any
No.
web, or because we're so old, when we were at uni, it was all Flash. And it was like, Flash is going to be the next big thing. You've got to learn Flash. You've got, and we took the sort of conceptual route rather than multimedia. And yeah, software and tools aren't everything, because you might know it inside out, but in 2-3 years it could have disappeared in favour of something else. So having those real core design skills and knowledge, that never changes. Those things are, you know, learn your art history, learn about people who broke the rules, learn about all those things, because software comes and goes, but those things are really important.
Okay, we have Jeff here in the chat.
Oh, where is he?
Yeah, he's in the chat. So first of all, he's asked, how much does the dog earn?
His name is
all the chewies he can eat. Lunches most days. He does like to harass the whole team for their lunch.
Paid in food.
Paid in food, yeah. Paid in food. And he sits on a blanket on Emily's lap. So that's another one of his indulgences.
There you go. Just put Jeff on screen as well.
Yeah. And Jeff's got a question for Emily, really. What do you think about the transition from university to industry? And what have you developed or learned?
Oh, wow. I mean, I'd say the biggest thing really has been learning a lot about websites, I'd say. Because, I mean, you know, I didn't do much about websites when I was with you guys. But no, like, I learned so much at uni on like actual design and like ideas and concept, very similar to you guys. But I'd say like the biggest transition as well is working with clients and, you know, hearing their inputs and stuff like that. Because like obviously you can have an idea and you think, oh, this is amazing, but then it might not be what they want. So sometimes the biggest thing which I've learned is sort of putting my thoughts aside,
like,
I guess.
compromising,
compromising, like, you know, okay, like that's what you want, cool, we'll go with it. And sometimes it works out for the better. So, and it's what they want, it's their logo, it's their design. So yeah, it's been good.
That is definitely it's that I was talking before about being a screwdriver, and it's kind of some projects you get led down a path and you find it's easy just to go with what the client wants, and you get to the end of the path and they don't like what they've got, and then you've got nowhere to go because you just follow them. So it's a kind of a balance between giving your opinion on what they're saying, and that's the art really. And it's not easy, but you're doing a very good job. Actually, I will say that. So
Okay, we've got a question in from Amal Ahmed. He says he's working on a project designing an interior space for a graphic design company, and he wanted to know more about how you work. Would it be okay for him to contact you over email?
Yes.
Brilliant.
No problem at all. Or add us on LinkedIn, emails. Our emails on our website.
That's brilliant. Thank you.
No problem at all. Always happy to help.
Let's have a look. If anyone's got any questions, just pop them in the chat or the Q&A. Lisa, have you got anything?
Yeah, we're coming up to the end of the time, so now is the time to ask a question if you have got one burning that you want to get the answer to. Yeah, I suppose I just was wondering about networking. You've mentioned it so many times, and you know, LinkedIn and social media. Is sort of digital networking the main way to go about it, or have you done sort of in-person things? Obviously it's been hard with COVID. I know you said you were linked with the Entrepreneurs Circle.
Yes.
You know, how important is it to link up with membership bodies and sort of to do that in-person networking?
We do kind of a mixture of both, really, don't we? We always have done. I don't think you necessarily have to go to any expense to do that. Your local growth hub is a brilliant place to start because they advertise lots of networking opportunities. The Black Country Growth Hub are really active on social media and they put on lots of events and stuff. But there's tons of stuff about Talbots, who are a big law firm. They do monthly 2 networking sessions a month that are completely free that you can turn up to. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. We used to do pre-COVID, there's a thing called Brummie's Networking, which is on Broad Street in Birmingham. That's completely free to go. Sometimes it'll cost you, I don't know, a £5 for a bacon roll and a coffee when you get there to cover the cost. But yeah, we do some of the bigger ones, don't we? Yeah. But yeah, there's loads and loads of opportunities to go out there and talk to people and get your face known without it actually costing you anything, and they're really good. I think things like Entrepreneur Circle we've joined because it also has an educational aspect to it, like business coaching and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. So 2 things like the thing about networking is know, like, and trust. So get people to know you, get people to like you, and they'll trust you. You know, so the networking does that. I mean, any kind of networking, especially. I mean, if obviously you're a student, then do what you can. LinkedIn is a great place. You know, it doesn't hurt starting to do that now. And another thing somebody told me, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So, you know, if people know you, so and so does websites. Yeah, and I'll go and speak to him. I've spoken to you, because why would you go to Google if you know people that do things? So just get talk to people. Make people want to do business with their friends. So make some friends. That's basically the way to look at it.
We've had inquiries coming from like the most random of places. It'd be like, oh yeah, I was talking to the guy we've got a little bakery by us. I was talking to the guy who you get your bread off, and he said you do websites, because he randomly one day asked us what we did, so we told him a bit. And yeah, just tell everyone what you do. Tell them what you never know, what they might need and what want. Or people like to feel connected as well, don't they? They like to go, oh, I've got a guy, or I've got a lady, or I've got a group who can do that for you. And yeah, just tell everyone. We're shameless, that's what we're trying to get across.
And of course, we've seen a brilliant example of sort of getting your name out there through Emily, because you recognised her through Instagram, I think you said, and the work that she'd done for new designers. Just one other question from me. If you are advertising jobs, where do you tend to advertise them?
We started initially just on LinkedIn, which didn't get much success. Then we did, was it Indeed? Indeed, yeah. Because we kind of dabbled a bit on LinkedIn, looking for freelancers, had no success because we were confused why people weren't going to be, you know, willing to work with us in a way we wanted to work. And we thought, well, they're freelancers, and why would they buy into our company? So we had to put our money where our mouth was. We went to Indeed, did it properly, and but people, you have to do a lot of vetting of people, because we made it very clear the geographical issues, you know, because we don't want people who are miles and miles away, because when it's all right in the summer when they can stroll in, but when it's freezing cold, middle of a storm, they're still difficult to get here. And we were getting applications all over the world from
yeah, we had some from
Israel, Barcelona, yeah. So that's it's quite, recruiting is a hard process, and we've been through it a few times this year with Kickstarters and with Emily's job. And it's not easy at all.
We've also seen the other side of it, where we did have bring another team member on who wasn't a very good fit, and we saw the disruption that it made to everyone in the team, and how it made that really difficult. So, and you know, that's really showed to us that our ethos and the how we like to be friendly, and that is probably the most important thing to us. It isn't money, or it's that creative atmosphere that we wanted to build, and that's our driving force.
I think that really comes across though. So what, you know, whatever you're doing it right, because that completely comes through. I think anyway, from what you've been saying. I know we're a bit over time, but there's one quick question from Jeff. He says he loves the office space, and how important is that space to inspire your creative approach?
Oh, I think, because when we were downstairs, we had 2 smaller offices downstairs, and they were like 2 small offices off a corridor. So you had to sort of come out one office and walk down the corridor and go into the other one. And it wasn't a team, was it? It was a sort of, you know, it was 2 separate offices. Whereas here, it's given us that space to like collaborate and to
paint the walls orange. You know,
we think
get some space.
I think it was our 2nd year we came back into uni, and I'm not sure where it came from, but the graphics floor, we walked back in and it was day glow orange. Whether they got some cheap paint from somewhere, I'm not sure, but it was bright orange, and we're pretty sure it got burnt into our sidekick. And then we painted our own walls orange as well. So yeah, just having that.
And we got like a meeting room with a massive table, and you know, we get paper out and we draw stuff. And there's a kitchen area, and it's just, and the hall is part of our space as well. So you know, there's a setting out there, and
we've got
Christmas tree at the moment.
Got a workplace jukebox that we all put songs onto, and sort of dogs wandering in and out, and because I think that's a really hard thing about creativity, and I think it's something that clients don't always understand, that it's like right, go and be creative now. And it isn't like a switch, is it? You can't just turn it on and go, oh, I'm creative now. Sometimes you need that, you know, you need to go off and do something a bit tactile. It might be drawing or cutting or sticking or making something, or to get the juices flowing, sort of thing. And I think that was something we felt was missing in the jobs we'd got, wasn't it? I worked for a job where they didn't even want the design team to talk to each other. They wanted all communication to be via Slack, which is a messaging service. And it's like, you can't, it was bizarre, so it's like we're trying to be the opposite of that environment. And admittedly, all the companies downstairs are sort of steels and manufacturing companies, so we're just the sort of nutty designers upstairs. I mean, you know, dragging stuff up and down the stairs, or there's some kind of clonking around, or something to change colour. And I'm pretty sure they wonder what. And we've invited them all up here on Friday for our Christmas party, so they'll peek behind the curtain.
It sounds like a great place to work. I mean, have you got any jobs? I don't know. It just sounds like such a lovely environment.
Dan doesn't do very much, so
I was thinking it sounded like a lovely place to work, and it's been so nice to hear the 3 of you and get to know you a little bit and the kind of work that you do. Thank you so much for all the insights that you shared. Thank you very much on behalf of all of the students that are tuning in as well. I know they will have found that really, really useful. Just before we finish, really quick advert. This is actually our last Creative Futures session before Christmas. So happy Christmas, everybody. Have a lovely break. We are planning our sessions for semester 2. The first one will be on the 2nd of February. And we're mixing things up a little bit. It's actually going to be in MK 045. And what we're doing is celebrating the British Art Show that's coming to Wolverhampton by inviting in 6 of our AA2A resident artists to talk about their careers as fine artists. So all of the details will be posted on our website in due course. And I think Claire might have put a message in the chat. Yes, so the link is there. Otherwise, have a lovely afternoon, everybody, and thank you for attending.
Thank you.